Today we have the 2025 Lexus TX. This is the 3-row from Lexus that is actually meant for families. So of course we have the Lexus GX, the Lexus LX, for those more rugged, luxury type of vehicles that can have 3 rows. But this is a 3-row Lexus that is unibody, and it is meant for families with good cargo space and good passenger space. Today we're gonna take a detailed look at the exterior, the interior, and get it out on the road for a test drive. Let's get started. Now let's take a look at all the exterior details of this Lexus TX. So I've showed you the 500H model before and talked about some of the different trims. This one is the 350 luxury model. So we're gonna kind of focus on this and just talk about as a package what this TX offers. So up front, we get auto leveling headlights. They're LED with this signature Lexus running light. We've also got LED fog lights down here, which can include cornering lights. So when you turn the wheel, these lights are going to illuminate whatever direction you're turning. So if it's dark, don't have a lot of lighting around you, turn left, it's gonna light up to the left. But unlike the 500H or the F Sport models, this is a little more of a low-key, luxury-oriented design with this grille. The paint color on this one is called Nightfall Mica, and we have the optional 22-inch wheels. Please excuse the water spots. I didn't even see those until the sun was beaming down on here. But we've got a nice metallic-y paint with this Nightfall Mica. These are optional 22-inch wheels. Typically, you'll get 20-inch wheels on this luxury model. We'll see how it affects the ride comfort, and we'll talk about that when we get into the test drive. Now, I like the overall design and side view of this TX. It's a long 3-row vehicle, but it still has a little bit of aggression to it, and it has some nice curves in my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are down below. And of course, with SUVs, you typically get the roof rails up above, but we got the crossbars included here too. And then the mirror, it's auto dimming, power folding. You've got a blinker in it as well, so you're good to go with that. And in terms of the dimensions, it's 203 inches long, so it's a significant bit longer than the RX, even the LX, and the GX, I believe, too. Both of those big 3 rows, or 2/3 rows from Lexus. Lexus also gives us this blade tail lamp design, running all the way across. What do you think of that? At night, it really does stand out. And one thing I want to mention is that they give you what is called an optional activity mount. That's not meant for towing, but it is meant for hooking up bike racks, storage racks, things like that. So for the cargo area, Lexus gives us the hands-free option. You can open and close it with your foot. It's not a wave, it's not the stand back here and let it beep a few times. It's the foot activated one. And one thing I have noticed is I do some work with my vehicle sometimes where I'm on the computer back here, and when I'm standing here, or even sitting on the edge here and my foot is like waving underneath, it beeps and it wants to start closing on me. It's happened a few times, so it's a little hypersensitive, but at least it works. You can, hold on, try it again. Make it close with your foot too. Taking a look at the cargo space, this is one of the reasons you'd want to get this over an LX or a GX, because it has more overall cargo space and it's a little more functional and practical for all 3 rows with cargo space. I'll put the numbers back here. We've got a little cargo net holder right there. There's an option for a tonneau cover here as well. You've got a 12-volt power outlet right there. One thing I'd like to see is the available or optional, like hard fixed tie downs, or not tie downs, but hooks for like groceries and stuff like that. Underneath of here, we've got a movable floor. So we lift this up. We've also got a spare tire down there. You've got a jack kit. You've got your little tonneau cover right there. So it's good to see that. And then to fold everything down, check this out. It is a power folding 3rd row on this particular model. The base model's not going to have a power folding 3rd row. I personally do not like a power folding 3rd row in case it quits working, but at least that's an option. It's on this luxury model, and it makes it nice and flat, and you've got pretty good space if you just roll with those 2 rows. Now to fold the 2nd row down, we have to actually go up to the 2nd row. To fold it down, you have a 2-step process. Number 1 is to pull that one. Number 2 is to pull that one. And then this does go flat. It gives you a lot of cargo space if you've got both seats folded, but you can split fold the 3rd row or split fold the 2nd row. and you've got great cargo space. Now let's take a look at the smart key system. So smart key is standard. You get the typical Lexus key fob. It is thin, it feels durable as well. Got no complaints with that. 3-press the lock button for remote start. To lock it, you've got a little line right there. The mirror power folds. And as I've showed you before, the door handle doesn't actually pull out. There's a little button right there. This is their digital latch. And sometimes it's a little bit delayed when I walk up. With like typical sensors, you put your hand in there and it will register immediately. With this, sometimes I'll push the button and it doesn't work immediately, but still, if you get locked out or if your battery dies, I should say, like happened to me with a Lexus before, there's a little section that you can pop up and unlock it with a physical key, and then you can use this handle to get out. So if the battery dies, this digital latch is not gonna work and you're gonna have to manually get inside. That's pretty common nowadays with vehicles to have electronic actuators like that, but that's the way it works. And this has the remote parking available. You can use your phone as a key as well. Taking a look at these seats, in this luxury model, we've got the semi-aniline leather with some of these accents in here, which are pretty nice. I mean, this soft, like suede, ultra suede type material. This leather feels nice. The headrest isn't too far forward, so I love that from Lexus. You've got good bolstering on the sides. You've got some mild bolstering on the bottom. And then the actual seat controls, we get 4-way lumbar support, your recline, height, and tilt adjustment. And this extends the leg rest quite a bit. So you got quite a bit of movement right there for that thigh extension, not leg rest, but thigh extension. You know, you might expect a massage function or some bolster adjustment or a little bit extra, but this is what you get. Lexus usually keeps it pretty simple. The steering wheel is power adjustable as well, all directions. A leather heated steering wheel on this model. It's a comfortable steering wheel as well. Nothing over aggressive, but it's got some little grips right there. Got the spoke design down here. We've got heated and ventilated seats right here, so you can control those on here. This is the way it works. You've got the concierge mode, which is auto, to where it can dictate whether it's going to turn it off or not, or use heat or ventilation. Heated steering wheel control, or you can override it and have 3-tier of each. So that's the way that that works. One other thing is we have the memory settings on the driver's side. And you get the entry-exit system to where the seat will automatically move for you and you get in and out of the vehicle. You can customize that, turn it off or on if you want to. And I've got to say, these seats are comfortable. I've been very comfortable in these seats, no complaints. They're not too aggressive, but they're soft and comfortable at the same time while still feeling supportive too. Now the back seat also has this digital latch. So one pro to having that is that if the vehicle senses a person or a vehicle coming from behind, it's an electronic actuator in here too. It's not going to let you open the door if a car's coming. So there is a safety aspect to that, safe exit assist. We've got these manual sunshades in here. This door panel is nice. You've got some nice soft material, big armrest, a little bit of storage down there as well. And we've got a captain's chairs version here. You can get the TX with a bench seat back here as well. So I'd love to hear, would you rather have a setup like this or a bench seat? Now, behind where I like to sit, I'm 5'9". This is where I typically like to have that seat. Obviously, I've got good knee space. I've got pretty good foot space here as well. We've got this little mat pocket on both sides, which is nice and thick and durable. We even have the optional heated and ventilated seats. I believe heated seats are standard on the luxury, but you can get heated and ventilated as an option. Plus, we have our own automatic climate control. It's a single zone in the back, but it is nice to be able to control that. 2 USB-C charging ports and this extra storage cubby right there. And then as you'll see up front in a little bit, you've got this similar cup holder design. There's a little unlock button to where you can take it out completely or just pop it back in, either way. So you've got this extra section right here, depending on how you want to have it set up. And this So you can see these little rubber pads right here. This is a good spot to like store an iPad or even store your phone or something like that, and it'll kind of hold it in place too. The other cool thing, this whole thing is pretty much modular to where you can lift it up and get it out of the way too. So you've kind of got an option to have it or not have it. And we've got center folding armrests in here that do ratchet at different places. So that is nice. These seats are also quite nice back here. You still have this like microfiber on there with the leather back here, even some down here. It looks pretty nice overall. We've got this massive roof. Let me open that up. LED lights back here. We've got our air vents overhead, so they can blow directly on you, and you got this panoramic roof. Everything is pretty nice back here. And let me show you that we can actually recline these seats too. So you can go forward and backwards wherever it's comfortable and have good space. Now getting into the third row, first of all, let me show you a few different levers. This is your lever to recline right there. This one folds that seat back down. This is the one that allows you to scoot the seat forward and backwards. I now have this seat all the way forward. That one is all the way back. And this button up here, check it out. Fold and move. Push the button, push and hold the button, and it will fold forward and slide forward. So you've got extra room to get in here to this 2-seat setup in the third row. Now with that seat all the way forward, I've got a good amount of space right here. Obviously most people are not going to sit with that all the way forward, but hey, check it out. I can sit behind this one with this one all the way back. I'm 5'9". Like I said, you probably won't carry adults back here all that much, but even some big kids, a lot of kids taller than me, are gonna fit in here just fine. And air conditioning vents in the third row too. Plus we've got USB ports. There's a USB port on each side. This is a buckle holder to keep that buckle out of the way if you want. And then check this out. You can move the seat. So third row, since the third row is powered, this is how we recline our seat. And with it reclined, my head is touching right here, but it is cool that you still get that option. And if I sit up straight, I can feel my hair, my poofy hair touching a little bit, but my head's not pushing into the ceiling. So good space back here overall. Now let's go ahead and start it up. Foot on the brake, push button start right there. Similar to what we've seen in some other Lexuses right now. Massive screen, this kind of similar swoop design right here. But over on the door, let's start out over here. We've got a soft armrest, soft material, all nice on this door panel. It feels very premium. Down here, you've got a decent sized bottle holder, not super wide, but big enough for a, probably a handleless, handle-free type of mug and jug and plastic bottles. We've got the door latch right here, which is the safe exit assist. It will not let you open the door if there's a vehicle or a bicyclist coming behind you to keep you all safe, but you can override it by pulling the physical handle right there. In here, typical Lexus. I love how they just keep the simple controls like this out of a touchscreen. Brightness control for your cluster. You can toggle through your trip computer there or your trip odometer, which is great. Fuel door. Open up the back. Keep those available and easy to access, unlike touchscreen reliant systems. And then memory settings right there. You get your soft little lined tray right here. You know the difference between a Lexus and a Toyota? It's this right here. Lexus gives you this nice little soft section on there. As far as I know, Toyota doesn't. So here's the difference. All right, steering wheel, heated, leather wrapped. We've even got paddle shifters on here. This is the sensor for the Lexus safety system, which is pretty advanced, and I will show you that or talk more about that when we're driving. We've got light controls over here. You've got rain sensing wipers over there. And my biggest complaint with this Lexus, and really with any of the Lexuses nowadays, is the whole screen system. I love that it's a big digital screen, but the way that everything works on here is you can have the controls show up on your head-up display, which, yes, it's cool, it's great, you've got a head-up display, but when you put your fingers on the steering wheel, you don't know exactly what button you're pushing or controlling unless you look at the head-up display or you look on here. You can have it show up on here or the head-up display. But when you're touching the steering wheel, if I want to change the song, I know where to push, but it's delayed. Like I can put my finger there and then it's a second or two late, or I can push the button a couple times and it doesn't register right away. It's a little annoying because these are kind of programmable. They change on this side and this side. This is more cruise control side. You can see you've got your lane system, cruise control right there, more audio controls over here. But I don't love how you have to actually kind of see. I wish these were dedicated buttons just like they have been. And the same thing kind of goes with this display here. You've got 3 different views that you can toggle through. And I went to go push on here to change it, and it was on the other screen where it was for a cruise control. So have to hit another button, and then I can change the display between 3 different displays, and you can kind of customize some information in each individual section, but it's just not as intuitive, it's not as user-friendly as the way that some of the older systems were. Just a small complaint on my end, but I'd love to hear what you think. I think this gauge cluster system still looks very nice. It is nice having a head-up display as well, which you can turn off if you want. Just my 2 cents right there. Now we've got a massive display over here. I don't have any complaints with this display. Everything has worked really well. You know, not everybody's a big fan of the Lexus user interface, but I like it. I think it works great. We've got wireless Apple CarPlay and wireless Android Auto. You can have a Lexus menu show up here, or you can expand it and get rid of that. But this bottom section is all climate control, which we'll talk about in a sec. But if we go to the Lexus user interface, we've got vehicle settings that we can go through. We can customize a good amount of things on here too. You've got trip computer information on here. You can go back to maps, music, phone, all the things that you really need to do. But then we go back down here, and this is like a quick menu. So you've got little menu stuff on here. You've got your head-up display where you can change it between different modes, comfort and convenience features. We got drive modes on here, which I also not a big fan of. You have to go onto the screen to change the drive mode, even though you probably hardly ever will. Driver assist features on here. So you've got some quick access things on there. And then go to climate, and we can adjust a few more climate settings on there. Temperature dial is right here, which is nice. Let me turn the fan on. So you got temperature dial there. You got fan speed right here. And this is a large enough screen to where it doesn't bother me that it's a touch screen down here. So for the most part, this works well. This is where you change where the fan blows. You can put it in auto, can slide it down, tap it down. It works well for me, and I don't really have any complaints as far as that goes. One big bonus is that we have the optional 360 camera right here. So you've got this top-down view. We've got dynamic lines. You can see that over there. If we're parked and we hit the camera button, which is right here, we'll get a around the car view, so you can see perfectly if you're parked in those lines, and then you've got a bird's eye view that will show up after that. In addition to this vehicle, we've got the advanced parking system where, buckle your seat, it will automatically park for you. That is an option on this model. We've also got another option is the Mark Levinson audio system. The Mark Levinson audio always sounds really good in these Lexus models. It never ever feels like it's overdone. Feels premium, sounds premium, and it's just a nice overall experience with the audio. 3 USB-C charging ports, a wireless charging mat that has worked every time, even with a MagSafe magnet type of case right there. And then you can slide it out of the way. So if you've got your phone charging, push it up out of the way, get it out of view so you're not using it. And you got a 12-volt power outlet down there and a pretty big deep storage bin with a nice soft liner. You can bring that back. And this tray has a little bit of texture to it. So it's not entirely like cheap plastic, but it's not necessarily grippy. Cup holders right here are good size, big squares, but they've got these little pieces that help accommodate other items. And you can take them out just like you can in the back. You can take both of them out, keep one of them in if you want. So you've got some modularity there. Right here, we've got this split fold armrest. So you don't have to kick your passenger's arm off in order to get in. And it's a pretty deep bin, soft liner. You've got a light inside of here as well. So you're pretty set with that. The shifter just stays right here. Go into reverse and it reverts back to the same spot. Just some small movements. P for park. Brake hold right there. Auto stop start. Downhill assist control. Probably never ever going to use it, but if you're going down a steep hill, kind of off-roady, you can push that. It's going to help you go down. Off-road modes, check this out. Let's go ahead and put it in drive. And then on the screen there, you'll see the little tree icon. So you're ready for off-road mode. That also turns off your proactive driving assist. Parking brake right there. So this whole center console works well. You've got nice materials in here. We even have some like ultra suede over there. We have a locking glove box, soft inside. Lexus gives you lots of nice materials in here. We've got an auto dimming rearview mirror like this with garage controls, or a digital rearview mirror. So this is a camera straight out the back. We've seen this from Lexus and Toyota recently. I think it looks great. You know, if you get in here right away and you look and it just throws it off for you, like you almost like see through the camera and you see the mirror instead, just change the angle of this a little bit until it seems to be right. It takes maybe a bit of getting used to, but then you have perfect visibility out the back. We even have a little sunglass holder. Thank you, Lexus. Nice to see that built in. LED interior lighting. We've got this massive panoramic roof in here as well. Always nice to see. Then vanity light and mirror, and Lexus gives us a sliding visor. So you've got great coverage. You've got a nice interior overall. Nothing overdone, not really a big wow factor, but it's just nice. Now under the hood for the Lexus TX, the only way you can get a V6 is if you get the plug-in hybrid version. This is a base turbo. You can get the 500h F Sport, which is also a turbo, but it's a turbo hybrid and it's more performance oriented. And then there's the plug-in hybrid version. So you've got regular turbo, turbo hybrid, or V6 hybrid plug-in version. So you've got a few different options, but those are your options there. I've talked about the 500h before and all the powertrains in my last video, so I'm gonna focus on this particular turbo. This 2.4 liter 4-cylinder turbo gives us 275 horsepower, 317 pound-feet of torque. It has an 8-speed automatic, and you can get front-wheel drive or all-wheel drive, and towing capacity is still up to 5,000 pounds. So on the back, we have the activity mount. That is not meant for towing. That's just for putting on bike racks, storage racks, things like that. But if you get an actual receiver and a hitch back there, you can tow 5,000 pounds. Oddly enough, this is the smallest overall package in terms of power, and it's the least efficient from Lexus. Front-wheel drive and all-wheel drive models for this are rated at 23 mpg combined, whereas you get, I think, 27 or 29 combined with those other two options. And more speed, but also more expensive. All right, y'all, we are now behind the wheel of this Lexus TX. So I drove the TX before with the 500h model, and you can definitely tell a difference. So this feels somewhat underwhelming, considering the price point, $70,000+, and being a luxury vehicle. It just feels a little laggy. This 4-cylinder just doesn't seem to quite match what this should be, but it does the job. It's not it's the least efficient option of all the powertrains because the others are hybrids, but it does okay. It's good enough. It just doesn't feel luxurious. It doesn't feel like it matches a $70-something thousand price point. Now that that's over with, the rest of this is nice. We have good ride comfort. We have a quiet vehicle. We've got laminated glass right here to help with keeping the wind noise down. Ergonomics in here is good. Lexus is pretty much always good with that. We've got the head-up display that's got good information. All the controls are easy to get to. You've got easily accessible cup holders, storage bins, and it's comfortable. The steering wheel's comfortable. The seats are comfortable. It's a nice place to be. The main reason I talk about that powertrain just feeling underwhelming is when you accelerate, just driving through town, I feel like I'm driving my Aunt's 2011 Camry, because it's pretty much got the same size engine. But this is turbocharged, so one benefit obviously is that you've got good punch in short spurts. You've got good get up and go in little bits of throttle, so you don't have to hammer down to get good power out of it. We'll put more pressure on it a little bit later. This is a smooth road, but this is still a smooth riding vehicle. And now that we got to get on the brakes feel good too. One thing about this is proactive driving assist. I'm not touching the brake. It is slowing down for me. It's almost like radar-based cruise control when you don't have cruise control on. It proactively will brake for you depending on conditions around you. So you can turn that off or on. In fact, with this little screen, swipe over, and you can turn proactive driving assist off. One annoyance is that in order to change your drive mode though, you also have to go into the screen. I'm gonna put us in sport mode. I apologize, I took you down some construction here. I didn't know this was here. But overall, in this vehicle, you've got good ride comfort. Even though these have the large 22-inch wheels, this has still been comfortable all week for me. It handles okay. If you look at other luxury vehicles and compare this to those, this maybe feels a little more lackadaisical, a little more lazy, not as tuned in and dialed in. But it's not meant to be that way. It's not a performance-oriented vehicle. If you get the F Sport, like that 500H that I talked about, you're gonna get an adaptive suspension. You're gonna get a better handling vehicle as well. This is more comfort-oriented. And like I said in the very beginning, this is a 3-row geared for families. You've got great third row room. You've still got space behind the third row for cargo and good overall cargo space that you really can't get with those other Lexus models, the bigger truck-based versions like the GX and the LX. Those are very nice. They're also at a premium with price and geared for a different purpose. Now, I've got us in sport mode. If I just do a little bit of pedal, it gets going. I mean, it puts the torque down, so at least you get some torque pretty quickly. If I do pedal down, it's a little more delayed. But although this has a smaller powertrain, less efficient than the rest of those available with this vehicle, it's adequate for a 3-row vehicle in the luxury segment. You've also got the option for eco mode, which is going to dull things down. You've got a custom mode as well. And like I mentioned, you can get the F Sport handling or the 500H F Sport performance if you want something more in line with that aesthetically and dynamically as far as driving goes. And the plug-in hybrid model, it's got a sub 6-second 0 to 60. That is actually the most powerful version there is. And you can get, 30 plus miles of electric range. So depending on what your needs are, but for the basic powertrain here, this is probably good enough for most of you. But don't be disappointed if you get this and it reminds you of just a basic 4-cylinder in a cheaper vehicle, because that's what it feels like. But it is turbocharged. You've got good amount of torque, which is the main thing with day-to-day driving. And overall, it's still a nice driving experience. On a day-to-day aspect, comfort is good, handling is fine, and everything else is just easy to live with. And that's what you get with Lexus. You get simple luxury that just works.
So to wrap things up on this 2025 Lexus TX, there's definitely some pros and some cons. Big pro, if you love the Lexus nameplate, you want the simplicity of the luxury that Lexus offers without it being overcomplicated or completely reliant on a touchscreen like some vehicles we've been in. This still has a simplicity to it, and it has good space. It's 3 rows, it's got good cargo space. You've got some nice powertrain options, although this particular one is a little underwhelming. And if I was gonna spend this much money, I would probably honestly just go for the Grand Highlander, save some money, and still get a very similarly equipped vehicle and good powertrain options with that. I'd love to hear what your thoughts are down below. I do have a video of the 500H F Sport, which was definitely more fun to drive and still quite luxurious. So be sure to check that out in the description below. But thank you so much for watching.